Good afternoon from the Space Coast of Florida, where 4 astronauts are about to suit up for NASA's boldest test flight in a generation.
Our goal is to pursue the secrets of the universe, to change the world in air and space.
We have a ton of people gathering around the world to watch this history-making moment. This crew could be the first humans to journey around the moon in more than half a century.
The Artemis II crew is go for launch. Full send.
Let's go.
3, 2, 1. Booster ignition. And liftoff. The crew of Artemis II now bound for the moon. Humanity's next great voyage begins.
Artemis and Artemis II remind us that our greatest chapters are yet to be written. Well done. Go Artemis II!
As always in life, nothing goes perfect. Artemis II mission was not perfect either. There were few problems that showed up, such as, so we spent $168,000 to spend 1 kg of mass with Artemis II. International Space Station, they're flying like Superman, they're having fun with the water bubbles, the honey, the sandwiches and all. Well, it's all fun and games with food and all. The moment you need to use restroom and your systems are not working, not good. Artemis II marked humanity's return to deep space after 54 years of hiatus. Despite delays and technical challenges, Artemis II mission was launched on April 1st, 2026, and after 10 days of lunar flyby mission, it was successfully completed on April 11 with a successful splashdown in the Bay of San Diego, California. This was the first time since December of 1972, that was Apollo 17, that humans managed to successfully go beyond lower Earth orbit. And what a remarkable achievement it was. It was really great to see a festival season, just like 4th of July, all around the country, that everyone was looking for this mission to get successfully completed. And that's what happened. Because when moon mission started in 1969 and then ended in 1972, a lot of us were not there to witness it. And some of us were kids, right? So with renewed passion and so much excitement, we all witnessed this launch and its successful completion. Artemis II program was officially started in year 2014 when the contract was awarded. And the major development phase was 2015 through 2025. And then in November of 2022, uncrewed Artemis I was successfully launched. An initial crewed mission was planned in 2024, but it was delayed multiple times, and then it was completed on April 11, 2026. There were many key people involved from NASA leadership, such as Bill Nelson, Janet Petro, Mike Serafin, then Artemis II crew, the Artemis II 4, we call them, Reed Weissman, Victor Glover, Christina Koch, Jeremy Hansen. And then we have some key engineers and managers from NASA and Lockheed Martin, such as Howard Hu, John Blevins, and Debbie Korth. The primary objective of Artemis II mission was to send crewed spacecraft beyond lower Earth orbit since 1972 and test all this system throughout this journey near the lunar orbit, check the fidelity of all the systems of the Orion spacecraft, in realistic lunar environment and to bring crew safely back to the Earth. NASA defined 4 main objectives for Artemis II mission: to demonstrate crew deep space flight capabilities, because this was the first time since 1972 that we crossed Van Allen radiation belts; test the Orion spacecraft with a full crew on a lunar trajectory. Another one was to validate the performance of Orion spacecraft and European service module. This includes testing the life support system, thermal control, communication, navigation, power systems in deep space. And also to evaluate the spacecraft performance during re-entry, which hit the speed of about 25,000 miles per hour. And also to conduct a lunar flyby. The spacecraft flew approximately 4,000 miles beyond the far side of the moon. This was a dress rehearsal for Artemis II lunar landing mission, and obviously to gather critical data for future missions, collect data on radiation exposure, spacecraft thermal performance, and crew health in deep space, and also test procedures for crew operations far from Earth. Other than this primary objective, there were a few secondary objectives as well, such as to test Universal Waste Management System, the new space toilet in microgravity. Another one was to evaluate crew's performance and habitability during this 10-day long mission. And another objective was to demonstrate successful splashdown and recovery in the Pacific Ocean. Artemis II successfully completed the mission by meeting all the 4 primary objectives. All 4 astronauts, they completed the 10-day long mission and successfully had a splashdown in Pacific Ocean. It was a major milestone, proving the Orion spacecraft was capable of carrying astronauts to the lunar environment and bringing them back safely to the Earth. I was curious to know, in this endeavor, how long did it take and how much money and resources were spent to make it happen. So I dig deeper into the numbers, and I found NASA works with different contractors such as Lockheed Martin, Boeing, Northrop Grumman, Airbus, Aerojet, Jacobs Engineering, and is going to work with SpaceX next in Artemis III. And specifically, it worked with Collins Aerospace, who was responsible for Universal Waste Management System, the space toilet. Okay, the complete program cost, the cumulative cost leading up to Artemis II is expected to exceed about $93 billion. Out of that, the Artemis II, the spacecraft and crew cost, it was about $4.1 billion. Looking further down into this cost split, why did it cost this much? I found that the rocket itself, it was about $2.5 billion. Then spacecraft, the house for the astronauts, it was about $1 billion. Then you need ground operations, mission operations. So the total lunar cost was $4.1 billion. If you look at in terms of the mass, so typically we evaluate the cost numbers for the space missions in terms of the amount of load it carried, right? So Artemis II, the total mass was about 24,000 kgs or 24 metric tons. And if we look into cost per kg, it comes out to be about $168,000 per kg. So we spend $168,000 to spend 1 kg of mass with Artemis II. I got curious further to check what was the cost with Apollo missions. When the last mission was flown in 1972, how much money did we spend? So I found for Apollo 17, It was launched in December 1972. At that time, NASA spent $450 million, and the weight of the whole spacecraft was almost double than Artemis II. It was 48,000 kgs. So per kg cost at that time was little over $9,000, right? If you adjust that to today's inflation, it's gonna cost about $68,000 or close to $69,000 per kg. Now the obvious question is, why did it cost almost $100,000 more? What is the reason? Well, there are various reasons. One of the major reasons is post Challenger and Columbia disaster, NASA had to adapt this extra cautious way of working. So there are more reviews, there are more design refinements, the factor of safety added to all the system has gone up. So that's one reason. Other than that, so you have to remember, after 54 years, if you go 10 years back, 2014, that would have been about 44 years when the lunar exploration was initiated. That program Artemis was started 2014. So in this 44 years span, we lost a lot of resources or supply chain. So everything had to be redeveloped. We had the technology, know-how, how to do it, how to make it happen. So another reason is NASA had to develop everything. As I said, NASA is a federal agency that historically outsources most of its production to different contractors. By doing so, it always works in cost plus mode, meaning its budget is always surplus. They spend more and more money because when you deal with contractors, there is always more budget you have to allocate. Versus if you compare SpaceX, which produces about 85% of its systems within house. 85% of manufacturing happens within SpaceX. So they're barely about 10 to 15% they rely on contractors. By controlling the manufacturing, the cost saving with SpaceX is tremendous. And that is what it anticipated to happen in Artemis III when Falcon 9 is gonna be the rocket for Artemis 3 mission. And that time, the per kg cost is expected to go near $5,000 per kg. From $168,000 per kg to $5,000 per kg. That's insane amount of savings. And further, when Starship shows up, Elon Musk is anticipating that per kg cost would be under $100. SpaceX has significantly undercut NASA's current and historic launch cost by about a factor of 20 to 30 for low Earth orbit missions. While NASA SpaceX launch system is designed for deep space missions rather than commercial LEO cargo, the difference in cost efficiency per kilogram remains vast. If you look at NASA's current and historical numbers, there's one order of magnitude difference. For example, SLS per kg cost varied from $21,000 to $50,000. But if you compare that with Falcon 9, the cost remains under $7,000 per kg. And that's a huge amount of savings. This shows, if done right, a private company has the potential to save you a lot of money, and it's more efficient because SpaceX is known for its iterative approach, working around the clock, and not always meeting the deadlines, but still doing a decade worth of work in a few years. That's still remarkable. As always in life, nothing goes perfect. Artemis II mission was not perfect either. There were few problems that showed up, such as the communication lost because of some issue with Microsoft Outlook. Another issue was with the space toilet or universal waste management system. Within few hours of the flight, the problem started to appear in this toilet of Orion spacecraft. Crew reported that toilet fan jammed. Also, it affected the urine collection system primarily. There was something with this DFS system, and maybe the system was not primed because it was sitting for months. The resolution was the mission control from the ground. They were able to send a detailed instruction, and the crew, the first 4 astronauts, they had to fix the toilet. The toilet never failed completely, but it required crew intervention and workaround throughout the 10-day mission. So I started wondering, what's up with this toilet? We are so technologically savvy. We are claiming to have city on Mars, explore different planets. What's up with this toilet? Why did it happen? So I started to look into it. Who made it? And what's up with this? In fact, we have seen a lot of videos in zero gravity or microgravity. What happens is things stay at the same place. We have seen astronauts having fun in International Space Station. They're flying like Superman. They're having fun with the water bubbles, the honey, the sandwiches and all. Well, it's all fun and games with food and all. The moment you need to use restroom and your systems are not working, not good. Yes, that's worst possible scenario for you as an astronaut. This universal waste management system, as they call it. Why universal? I don't know, maybe because it is designed for the universe, maybe that's why. It is 48 kg toilet. If you use that factor, $168,000 per kg cost for this 48 kg of toilet, it comes out to be about $8 million. And it was developed by one of the contractors. And this was remember, this was the secondary objective of this mission, to test this universal waste management system, because they redesigned it. It was about 60 kg or 50 kgs lighter compared to the one we have in space shuttle, 113 kgs, and International Space Station we have about 100 kg. So this was about half that weight, right? About 50% lighter. And they wanted to check this significant mass reduction, that saving we got, how it's gonna perform in terms of all the system they had. As I pointed out, in space the things stay at the same place, unlike in gravity, whether you are flying an airplane or on the ground, you just use your normal toilet, which costs somewhere between $1,000 to $5,000 to install in your house and whatnot, right? By the way, they spent about $25 million to redevelop this lighter version of the space toilet. Remember, the one we have in International Space Station is 100 kg of mass, of weight, and this one is about 48 kg, almost half the weight, right? So definitely they did some groundbreaking engineering to bring the mass down by half a kg, by 50%. And by doing so, we saved a lot of money, right? Given the higher cost of per kg launch into space. However, this $25 million of R&D and then this $8 million a piece unit, it failed. There's a life lesson in there actually. It does not matter how smart, how valuable meaning, think about this. These 4 humans astronaut, they are on the most expensive vehicle, man-made vehicle, obviously, which cost about $4.1 billion. And with so much resources have been spent in this development, this cost $95 billion spent on this entire program. Alone on toilet, they spent $25 million. And other than that, so many people worked, so much resources, time, energy went into it. And now these 4 people, they have the most important job to do, and that is to complete the mission, take care of their health, their body, watch out for the systems, and come back safely. But what happens? They have to deal with the toilet issue. So I was saying this life lesson in there that doesn't matter where you are, how talented, educated, valuable, how elite you are, you gotta be always ready to deal with shit, literally. They thankfully in these missions they have option number 2 for your number 2, pun intended, yes. Option number 2 is to use bags to do your number 1 and number 2 and go about your day. That's the plan they have in terms of this kind of situations. And funny enough, or tragic enough I should say, this kind of things have happened in past. There are about 6 to 8 incidents. If you look at it, we had in 1990 space shuttle, toilet fan failed completely. Crew had to use backup bags, and that was highly severe. Followed by 2003 space shuttle, the waste tank overflowed. That was again hygiene issues. And then 2008, again the solid waste system failed in Russian spacecraft. Then International Space Station we had 2010, 2013, again medium severity issues. And now in 2026 Artemis, and 2021 Crew Dragon, we had again the waste hose disconnected once, and other time the urine bag leaked. So look like this is a known issue that has been happening, even though we are aiming to colonize the Mars, but our space toilets are not functioning. So Elon Musk, I am a little disappointed at you, because these last 2 incidents, this happened with SpaceX, right? So yeah, I just wanted to dig into this, that as excited as I got as everyone else, Artemis II, that we're going back to moon, when this news pop up about a couple of communication failures, then toilet issues, like wait a minute, toilet issues, this is serious, because I knew they do this universal waste management systems, and after about 7 or 8 decades into the space, I was expecting that we have mastered this, but looks like there's still a lot of work to do to take care of shit up there. Right, thanks for tuning in. I'll see you next video. Bye-bye.